Hey everyone, my name is Matt Workman, and in this episode of Cinematography Database Show Mini, this is going to be a short episode, we are going to break down the cinematography of Tested. And if you don't know what Tested is basically my favorite YouTube show where a bunch of nerds, or not a bunch, a very select group of nerds get together and they review some nerdy stuff. We're talking toys, video games, techie stuff, computers, all that stuff. They go out to the conventions, they do awesome coverage, and I just enjoy watching them so much. So check out their YouTube channel. I'll show that here in a second. And I was watching YouTube the other day, and I saw that they did a video called Behind the Scenes, How We Light Our Videos. And of course, being the DP detective that I am, I loved watching that. I loved seeing the lights that they were using. Even for something that's like a YouTube show, it's not a big feature film or a commercial, there's a lot to be said about how you light those and how you design a set. So I thought that it would be really cool to build that set in 3D and then to light it up with the Cinedesigner. So I've done exactly that. So let's hop on the computer. Here is the Tested website, and this is the video I was talking about, behind the scenes, how we light our videos. You'll see they've got a lot of cool LED lights for location work, but I build their main studio. So if you go to their YouTube channel, this is the main one. They've got quite a few views. If you go to this, this shot, this is what I recreated in 3D, and they talk about the lighting for it. Again, I guess I know it's not like a big glamorous commercial, but I thought it was really interesting. You know, with someone who has their own podcast, who runs their own YouTube channel, I had to light mine. I had to think about the set design that went into it. So I thought it would be kind of fun to break this down. And who knows, maybe Tested will check it out. I hope Tested checks this out. So here, let's go into Cinedesigner. Here we are in the virtual Cinedesigner set. Now, you're probably thinking, like, how long did this take you to build, Matt? Like, how much free time do you have? I have zero free time because I'm about to launch a new product called Cinedesigner, and you're looking at it. But I thought that this would be a cool kind of marketing, fun thing to do. And I just like Tested as well, so I kind of nerded out and did this. To build this set took me about an hour. And I built all the walls based on photos from the from that YouTube video and the desks, and then I downloaded for free essentially these podcast mics from the from a place where you can get free models, and we'll talk about that later. And then I took these pictures again from just stills from the YouTube show, and I stuck them on the wall, and this is pretty accurate. So let's look at the lighting real quick. First of all, I'll show you the shot that we're talking about. This is not a 100% accurate representation here. They do use like a Sackler tripod, but they're shooting with, I believe, a Panasonic HVX 200, which is a great camera for a web show. I think it's going to be fine. You don't really need a lot of depth of field. The long record times, the easy zoom lens, I think that's going to work out. They have a lot of light, actually. A lot more light than you would normally have these days if you're using an SLR or something like that, because you don't need as much light now like you did. The HVX 200 needed a lot of light. I think its base ISO was like 320 or something like that, pretty low. And then you would gain up. So if you look up here, the main key lights they use two Diva lights. So they're similar to these 2-foot 4-bank Kinos, and then they have one big 4-foot 4-bank Kino up there. And that's what that looks like. And you can kind of see what's happening. So there's two people usually sitting there. And they're getting this light here. He's going to get that light there. And then this is just giving the whole set a broad, kind of bright wash. And now the DP of their set, I forget his name right now. You can see it on the YouTube episode. He called out that they had two, he called them cross key lights. I think they're basically backlights, kind of like edge lights here. He does end cap them to keep the spill off of the wall. And the things that I didn't visualize because I don't have them in my library just yet are he had two airy 150 or 300 watt Fresnels also nailed into the wall. One hitting here and one hitting here, just to kind of like give some shadow and some depth to that scene. And I'll show you what that set looks like through the camera. So this is the fun part about Cinedesigner, is like after I line this all up, so I can move this camera around and I can approximate the focal length, and I actually kind of reverse engineered the height. So you'll see if I change the height here, you can see how this kind of has to work out. And it's got a little bit of a tilt down. You can kind of tell that because you wouldn't want to see the lights up there. And this is the fun part about Cinedesigners. You can really, really get into the nitty-gritty of framing and have it be pretty accurate to the real world. I didn't have a great visualization of this yet, but they also do a bit where they stand up right here and then they talk. And then they have basically a 1K Chimera with blue in front of it and another camera for that bit. They talk about some stuff that I think is relevant to other YouTubers. If you're going to try to get a studio like this, I'd like to eventually have a studio like this set up for Cinematography Database, is that they do a lot of stuff with screens, and so do I. So they have to use daylight or lights that have the color temperature of 5600 Kelvin. And you'll see that in my studio, I use all window light and one LED. And they're both set to daylight, and that means that the screen shows up not blue, essentially. So that is a look at our at Tested. I had a lot of fun making this. Kind of sidetracked from the product, but again, this product is called Cinedesigner, and it's going to allow you to, inside Cinema 4D, have these cameras, have these lights, have Kino flows, have area lights. I'm going to build more and more lights and add them to the database, some free, some paid. And what else can I say moving forward here? So take a second here. Here are some final renders of the set. Now, I didn't have a long time to render these out, so they're a little noisy, they're a little bumpy, but I think you get the idea. And the Kino flows do a good job of recreating Kino flow lighting, though in Cinema 4D, it's more efficient to use something like a Chimera. The Kino flows are kind of an expensive calculation, but they're at least accurate for scale, and they make a nice lighting diagram. So to wrap this up, here we are back at Tested. You can go to cinedesigner.com, that's what this website is right now, or you can go to cinematographydb.com and go to the products page. This will show up. Here's the new Cinedesigner box art. This is kind of like a community. The community definitely helped me pick out this design, and then this is a little bit of a demo. Here's the current landing page. It talks about who Cinedesigner is for. Here's some gallery pictures from some more advanced lighting setups. I have more and more. Here's some cool demos, and then an FAQ about how to get started, like what do you need? You need Cinema 4D to use Cinedesigner, and then at the end it's a sign up, but on April 4th, Cinedesigner is going to be available to you guys to be able to make awesome 3D things. And if you want to do a 3D cinematography breakdown of my studio, you're welcome to. So I hope you enjoyed this shorter episode. Let me know if you're into this kind of breakdown compared to my usual hour-long mega breakdowns. But I will see you guys on Monday for the Cinematography Database show full size, and that's also when Cinedesigner is coming out. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.